What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. We're about halfway through October and the food forests are still looking green. So today I want to take you through on the full tour of both forests, the old and the new. Let's go! It looks like Tuck found some carrots in the food forest. I was just walking around and I see him sniffing and digging over here. The funny thing is these are actually wild carrots, well, self-seeded ones. You can see some of them up here going to seed. That's Tuck's looking for one. Here's one going to seed now from the other years. Carrots are biennials, so this is about the second year or so. And he looks like he's trying to dig one up. I checked them before, the heads aren't too big on them, or the actual carrot. So how do wild carrots taste when you let them self-seed? Are they worth it? Are they good? This one's a little small. It's white, super woody too. And I've tasted ones from here before. They really don't taste great. Tuck doesn't seem to mind. I guess he likes that carrot flavor. I'll have fun with that though, like he always does. And right here, we've got an instance where there's just too many trees. I originally planted that tree, which is I believe a red delicious. Oh no, I know it's in a delicious family. A golden delicious apple. And then we've got the Concord grape there, which is one of our best grapes. We love that one. So delicious. But what happened is the Prigioni apple came up from seed, popped up right here. And we've got fruit from that, not last year, but this year put on an insane amount of growth. So what I'm gonna end up doing is actually just taking out that golden delicious, let the Prigioni apple come through. You can't get that Prigioni apple anywhere else. And they're delicious. They're spritey, as I like to say. They got nice sweetness, but a little tart in the beginning, but not like astringent at all, not chalky, super, super delicious. And you'll notice through the food forest there's a lot of raspberries. Here's the yellow Ann. I love these ones a lot. The golden raspberries, they're doing a lot better than my red raspberries. So Tuck's still having a lot of fun digging up more carrots. So I'm gonna make some changes definitely in the future. Some of it is gonna be pulling out the raspberries. The fall raspberries just haven't performed as well as I'd like them to. So what I'm gonna end up, and it's actually not fun walking through that, as you could even imagine. So what I'm gonna do is pull out a lot of this, and I'm encouraging more strawberries. And that transition has happened through this year, as I've been planting more strawberries around trees you probably saw in the spring and stuff. So getting ready for that, preparing for the next transition of the food forest, because things are always changing. And that's one of the fun things about it. Here's the big, lost its leaves already, like most of the cherries, but wow, what a beautiful looking tree. Let me take you close. The bark is even looking really nice. Some areas you're seeing a little separation and splitting, just a small amount. We got some remedies for that I'm gonna show you and bring you along for in the future. Now that the trees have grown so much in the food forest, my approach has to change to them. And that's what's happening in my approach to the whole food forest. I talked about that a little bit in a previous video, how my approach to the grapes have to change, but so does the whole thing. That's why I'm gonna be removing some things, which is just gonna actually add more value to everything else, allowing for more sunlight, more airflow, because that's what you really need in a system like this. A system of constant moving parts, not static, but always moving, always changing. And you know, the years change, so what we have to do is just be open to that. The hazelnuts too, man, those things have just gotten huge this year. I'm gonna take a new approach to those as well, I think, doing a little bit of pruning, but as you see, we're opening up space to them too. So we're gonna give those a lot more sunlight. And this hazelnut's the one that's always produced well for us in the past. The squirrels and the chipmunks they were all over it this year. They were way too greedy, way greedier than previous years. That's one of our pear trees that's just a great performer. Here's a new cherry we put in here. And I believe that's the black tartarian. A lot of zinnias. We're gonna also add a lot more flowers next year. Always thinking about next year. Gonna check back at our notes, our journal, and look back at some of our videos and just get a good idea of what we did right, what we did wrong, and what we can do in the future to make it better. So here's a new pear tree we put in the ground too. And we got a few pears from it this year. They were delicious, the white doyen. And it's always good to have reliable trees, because you really wanna focus on that, be a big help for you. Here's our new fig. We didn't get any figs on it this year, but we're hoping for some next year. And we've done a little bit of research and talked to one of our friends, and they told us how to get a better production for that. So we're looking towards better production next year. And the greenhouse, we're working in there. If you guys want to follow along, we're going to be continuing the series. We're going to be growing in there this winter. I showed you guys already how I'm starting to prepare it. We're going to move along further with that, get some stuff planted. And here's a Rainier cherry. Another reason we remove that nectarine I previously talked about, can open up a lot of space for this one. We want to focus a little more on cherries. We love cherries. And again, that same concept of strawberries underneath. Right here was where I had the chickens come through. I showed you this multiple times where we had this millet and different stuff coming up. This isn't like a crabgrass or anything. This was from the chicken wild bird seed that we put down. I just was coming out here and actually cleaning it up, but I wanted to stop and show you guys because I wanted to just show what happens when you got these wood chips down. It's so easy to pull up all these weeds even though they're young, but it's what's underneath there. It's the fungus, it's the worms, it's the life, it's the soil. And you can see how quickly and how well everything came up in here. And the wood chips were much thicker when I, in the beginning of the season, but they break down so fast when you got the fungus working for you. And you got the worms and everything too. So, I've talked about it before, but huge concept is getting the wood chips down. And it's the idea of 40 years, essentially. If you have a 40-year-old tree, that's 40 years of condensed solar energy, putting that into the ground, as opposed to an annual. That's 1 year of condensed solar energy that you're dropping down if you're chopping and dropping. If you're doing this, you can drop 40 years of energy onto the ground. Then what we use is the microbiological life and the fungus to convert that solar energy to bioavailability for the plants. So I've talked about the number of videos, and I'm not going to go too crazy into it. I'm going to continue along showing you guys just how the food forest is growing. Lemon balm at the ground. Everything has a purpose in here, as most of you know. Here's a new tree we put in, an apple crisp, or honey crisp, sorry about that. And here's a new Liberty apple back there, draping down, looking like a Paul Gauci tree, which is cool. I like that style. We're gonna prune that one probably to more of an open center, which is how we prune the peaches. So the peach trees we prune to an open center, which is just like it sounds like. The center is open. What this encourages a lot more light, a lot more airflow, especially where I live in New Jersey. We've got high humidity, so that extra airflow is great for issues like peach leaf curl, which is just basically fungus. And things like apple trees typically like growing to more of a central leader, which is where you have one center leader going up like we have here on this Red Delicious. And it's said that that'll have higher production, but you'll see Paul Gauci, he prunes his to an open center, his apples. So we're gonna try a couple apples to an open center just to try it out. And here's an even more obvious example of an open center of the peach tree. As I walk into here, it's just wide open here. All the branches going out, and we've got that pretty high, the leaves, which is allowing even more airflow. And this is our best peach tree. It performs the best, produces the most fruit for us, and we're real proud of this one. We've had it for a number of years, while the asparagus just thrives underneath it. Look how thick the asparagus is. I'm expecting a huge harvest out of this one next year. So excited. I love asparagus fresh. You don't have to cook that stuff, not from the garden. Back here, it's turned into just a jungle of tomatoes and green beans. The thing is, we're not getting great production out of the tomatoes. So this is something I'm going to be changing next year, as well as this tree. We've had this tree here for as long as I can remember, and it's never produced for us. And we did all the work we could to try to get it going. It's just not producing. The other pear tree, we got that one producing well. So this is, I think, it's time for it to be removed and to get something in that's going to perform for us. Because you can see, if I had took that out originally and planted another peach tree, look how big it would be. So I don't want to lose any more time. I've been patient enough, I think. As you can see under here, we've got a lot of just all this growth that was going to break down, and we're going to get fungus and we're going to create soil. So that's a beautiful thing. We're happy seeing that. Anytime we see fungus, those mushrooms there are just a fruiting body. What's going on underneath is what's important. That's the mycorrhizal association. That's huge. That's what we want. So we're going to be doing a lot of work in here, pulling out raspberries and a lot of different things, just making room for what's going to be productive and what we want to grow, adding different kind of things, different varieties, making sure we're enjoying it, getting food, and also learning. Look at Tuck. See, you guys might think I set things up in the harvest videos or something. I don't. This guy's just out here grabbing snacks, biting on things, living life. He teaches me so much just about being alive and enjoying every moment, every smell, and every little taste of things we get. Videos like these are almost hard for me to make because I can't keep them short. I have so much to show and so much to say because this is my passion. I love doing this stuff. One thing I want to say is thank you to all you guys for following along. It means so much to me and Tuck to be able to share this with you. I hope you're getting a lot out of it. If you are, hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Hit the like button, that helps us a lot. And just any kind words of encouragement down there, we read it, we're thankful. But also we want to have some constructive criticism. If you think there's something we can work on, let us know. I'm going to take you guys into the new food forest now, just a year old. If you guys were watching, just last fall I started this. So you can be doing the same thing and have all this production next year. You got to get the wood chips down, you got to do the work if you want the harvest. As we step into the 1-year-old food forest, Tuck's got to be in front of the camera again. Love that guy. And this is the other pear tree I was talking about, the one that's older that's producing for us now. We got this one to production after doing some pruning and just kind of taking care of it better. Some of the suckers are getting a little tall, so we're going to remove those. But a lot of this new growth that we had worked on, look at this. This is what produced fruit for us. Beautiful new growth on this tree. And then we took down some of those trees here that were actually blocking our south light. We've got some annuals and stuff growing here. Got some Asian greens in the front, some bok choy, a whole lot of radishes.
And I'm just a waste of energy, don't you know? She's just wasting my time.
A lot of new fruit trees we put in here, and this system is kind of, I'm showing you guys how I'm doing it now that I've learned after doing this over here for 6 years. Now I'm on the new one. So this new system I think is going to be even better, quicker. You can see I got some rows of strawberries. I know that we're going to have this space as the fruit trees are young, as they grow up. So we've got a lot of fruit trees, a lot of disease resistant ones. Beautiful peach right there. I think that's the Mary Jane. Disease resistant. We got the right ones this time, guys. That's really, really big. You want to get the right ones the first time. 2 new apple trees, disease resistant ones. Here's the, I showed you guys this one in the harvest video just the other day. Here's the new pear tree. It looks like it's got a lot of huge, beautiful leaves on it, but that's just a bean climate. But the tree's still doing really well. Sorry, I don't know that. I can't say that pear. But it's still got nice growth on it. Where I'm watching and I'm making sure that that bean's not going to struggle to strangle the tree or anything. We don't want that happening. And over here we've got more pear trees with beans growing up, and using them kind of as a trellis until they get to production. So I think that's kind of important. Some of the last tomatoes holding on. You'll notice that in the harvest video, you know, the soldaki, those things just take over. The most reliable, best tomato in my opinion. One everyone's got to grow every year. You can see there's still some more stuff to harvest. We had a pepper grow bad here.
And I don't pretend to know what you know. Now please don't pretend to know what's on my mind. But if we already knew everything that everybody knows, we would have nothing to learn.
Some bib lettuce, one of my favorite lettuces, and more radishes up front there. Eggplants still just going crazy in production. Sometimes you just can't slow them down, especially this Chinese or Thai eggplant. I haven't found many. If you guys have a good way to cook these up, let me know. Look at the color on them though. Woo! Oh my gosh, that's beauty. See if I can get that. I can't even focus on it because it's so bright. And these strawberries are just doing excellent as well. I turn my back for a minute and leave the food forest door open, and the chickens sneak right in. They know where the worms are. They know where the snacks are. But I just can't have them in here just yet because they'll rip up some of the stuff too much. I've got to pen them in certain sections like I showed you. That's the way I think it works best. Let me take you into the chicken coop though, or the chicken pen, and just show you a few things. First off is this Japanese raisin tree. Look at this thing back here. At the beginning of the season, it was small. This year, it just took off. So beautiful growth on that thing. That's a Japanese raisin. That's not one I've seen many people grow. Hopefully we'll get some fruit on it next year and be able to bring that to you guys. As we got Savannah working under there. Loving it. Got to have that border around there though. That's what'll keep the chickens away. A little fencing. So that works so nicely. I'm going to be doing that in the middle of the coop. I'm going to plant a couple trees in here, and we're going to allow those to be like little cover areas for the chickens as well. Because this season I just allowed some of this big stuff to grow, so they have a place to like hide under for hawks and things like that. And then we also have some of the millet and stuff that goes to seed, and we just knock that down and the chickens will eat that. So producing some of their own food in here as well. And that's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. Now that it's cooled off, this is one of my favorite times of year to get out in the garden, get out in the greenhouse, just get out throughout the property, do some projects and just have fun. So I wanted to bring you guys along for that. If you're not already, hit the subscribe button. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. Don't forget to check us out on Steam too, because we're always posting on there. Tuck and James Prigioni, we'll be back at you real soon, but for now,